Some children don't disappear in the world, they disappear inside themselves. This is the psychology of growing up too fast. It begins so quietly that no one even notices. You are 7 years old, looking into the eyes of a parent who is falling apart. Maybe they are lost in addiction. Maybe they are drowning in anger. Maybe they are simply too empty to show up for anyone, even their own child. Without a single word, something old and heavy settles into your young mind. If I do not hold everything together, no one will. This is how a child disappears. Not in the physical sense, but emotionally. They smile more than they should. They swallow their tears. They watch the energy in the room before they speak. They turn into the emotional thermostat of the entire home. They become tiny adults long before their brain is ready for anything, close to adulthood. And strangely, the world claps for them. You are so mature. You are so responsible. You are so strong. Yet no one stops to wonder what this strength is costing them. This is the quiet grief carried by those who grew up too fast. Today, we are going deep into the psychology of that child because the effects do not fade with time. They shape how you love, how you work, how you see your worth. If you never understand what happened, you end up repeating the same survival patterns that once protected you but now slowly harm you. So let us start with what is happening developmentally. When children are pushed into the role of supporting the adults around them instead of receiving support, psychologists call this parentification. The child becomes the caretaker, the peacemaker, the therapist, the shield. This does more than strain the heart. It rewires the brain. A child who is forced to regulate their own emotions and everyone else's grows up with hypervigilance. You become someone who constantly scans for signs of trouble. You move through life on eggshells. You learn that love is something you must earn through stability and emotional labor. You learn that your own needs are dangerous and theirs are urgent, so you go quiet on the inside. Not gone, but hidden. In your place grows a version of you that performs well. The helpful one, the calm one, the friend who listens to everyone, the person who never asks for anything. You wear this identity so convincingly that even you start to believe it is who you truly are. Yet somewhere deep inside, something aches. The child you buried did not disappear. They are still there asking the question no one ever answered. Why did no one protect me? As you grow older, these early wounds become more complicated. You might turn into someone who is hyper-independent. You avoid help. You keep people at a distance. You never fully relax, even with someone you love. Joy may feel strange or undeserved or even unsafe. Rest may feel impossible because you were taught that worth only comes from productivity. Worst of all, you might not even realize you are living in survival mode because chaos became your normal. Stillness feels wrong. Peace feels suspicious. Love feels like a debt. This is the psychological cost of growing up before you were ready. It is not a simple sadness. It is a form of complex trauma that shapes how you move through the world and how you see yourself. Why would a child take on such a role? Because children will abandon themselves before they ever risk losing attachment. The choice is not conscious. It is biological. When safety disappears, the child gives up authenticity in exchange for belonging. That is not weakness. That is instinct. That is intelligence. The tragedy is that what saved you back then becomes the very thing that traps you as an adult. Many high-functioning adults are walking around with neglected inner children quietly running the show. We work hard to earn love. We stay silent to avoid conflict. We take care of everyone while secretly wishing someone would finally ask if we are okay. There is often a private dream buried deep inside. The fantasy that someone will finally notice you are not as strong as you act. That someone will let you crumble and finally hold you. That wish does not come from your adult self. It comes from the child who never got to be carried. The first step toward healing is not fixing anything. It is acknowledging what happened. Until you do that, you will keep telling yourself that it was not that bad, that others had it worse, that you turned out fine. But fine is often another mask. You know that so what becomes of that child once they grow up? They turn into adults who never feel safe in calm rooms. Adults who struggle to trust gentleness. Adults who give endlessly but freeze when it is their turn to receive. Adults who apologize for crying, who shrink from compliments, who confuse exhaustion with accomplishment. This is the price of growing up too early. If your childhood taught you that strength is more important than softness, silence is safer than truth, and caring for others is more important than caring for yourself, then what kind of adulthood are you left with? You inherit a life where you hold your breath, a life where you wait for someone to finally give you permission to fall apart. But here's the truth. No one is coming to rescue the child you hid away. That task belongs to you. You must be the one who goes back, takes their hand, and says the words no one ever said. You deserved safety. You were only a child. You can rest now. This is the start of shadow work. Not perfection. Not performance. Not fake positivity. It is turning toward the abandoned parts of yourself and saying, I see you and I am staying. It is painful because it demands that you feel the grief you never had space to feel. The anger, the sadness, the unspoken needs, the birthdays no one celebrated, the innocence you lost while protecting people who should have protected you. But grief is not a sign of weakness. It is proof that your heart is thawing. Now, let us look at how these survival patterns show up in adulthood. Sometimes you become the therapist friend in every relationship, yet no one knows the real you. Sometimes people admire your independence, but inside you are terrified of being a burden. Sometimes you overfunction in relationships, always fixing and managing until resentment builds. Sometimes you struggle to set boundaries because saying no still feels like betrayal. These habits are not personality traits. They are coping strategies. Learned, conditioned, and thankfully unlearnable. But change begins only when you stop worshiping your strength and start honoring your wounds. One powerful practice is to ask your inner child what they needed but never received. You might hear answers like, I needed someone to tell me it was not my fault. I needed someone to ask how I felt. I needed space to play and rest and laugh without fear. Healing is giving those things to yourself now, not to rewrite the past, but to stop repeating it. This is how you stop seeking parents in your partners. This is how you stop mistaking anxiety for intuition. This is how you stop running from the child you were and start becoming the person you were meant to be. Carl Jung once said that no one becomes conscious without pain. People will do anything to avoid facing their own soul. Shadow work asks you to face it completely. The ashamed parts, the frightened parts, the angry parts, the parts you learn to hide. Healing does not turn you into someone new. It helps you remember who you were before the world told you who to become. So if you are someone who grew up too soon, remember this. Your maturity was never the problem. The problem was that you had no choice. Now you do. You can choose gentleness. You can choose rest. You can choose to stop carrying every emotion in the room and start honoring your own. It will not be instant. Some days you will feel like that child again. Good. That means you are finally coming home. Let them cry. Let them laugh. Let them be seen. You are not broken. You are becoming whole. For the first time, you are growing the way you should have grown. Not through fear. Not through pressure. Through truth. You never had a childhood. You still have a future. This time you get to write it.